That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Ready, Steady, Cook. It's episode 138 of That's a Shame, brought to you by defunct BBC show Ready, Steady, Cook. I'm your host Isaac on the red pepper team, and over there on the green onion team, it's Declan Delane.
First of all, it was the green pepper and the red tomato. Secondly, don't lumber me with the green team. They're obviously inferior.
Ready, Cook.
But also,
I've made pasta.
I have a huge problem with Ready, Steady, Cook and the fact that it persisted for as long as it did. Because it was a cooking show, right, where they got minor celebrities to come on. They bring their own bag of
It wasn't always
ingredients.
celebrities.
Okay, well, sometimes it was.
It was Joe Public.
Oh,
It
wow.
was the People's Cook Show, and that's why we're sponsored by them this week, Ready, Steady, Cook.
They bring them on, very authentically in a little Tesco bag or a Sainsbury's bag or a Co-op bag.
No,
Be balanced.
you would never have the branding on the bag.
And they
that was important to Ainsley's vision.
They get their ingredients out, and Ainsley would stand over and he'd be like, "Oh,
What have you got?
A lot of bullshit here.
Red peppers.
Looks dull."
Green tomatoes.
And they'd kind of brainstorm a little meal.
Yeah.
And then they had 20 minutes, was it?
Well, he'd say, Ready, Steady, Cook.
And then they had 20 minutes to cook.
Yeah. And the audience, they're loving
Absolutely.
it. They can see almost nothing.
So this is the vital point, right? Is that there was a live studio audience for this show.
Just like having your grandma in the kitchen while you're making breakfast.
They would cook, and then Ainsley would have a bite, say, "That was really nice," and then he'd go over and have a bite of the other one, go, "Wow, that was really nice," and then the audience would vote on which
one
the best.
did me, Ainsley Harriott, enjoy more?
It's just so it inevitably devolved into which food have I heard of / which person was the least a
Well,
prick.
it's about the flourish and the kitchen as well.
Oh,
because
was it
when
about
you're
the
ready,
flourish?
steady cooking, it's not all about it's not ready, steady. I have cooked already, and here's what I've made. It's about the process.
Oh, I see.
And it's about just really showing off those.
Were
whiskey
you ready?
rods.
Were you steady?
And did you cook? And if you did, how did you? Why did you cook? And that's why green peppers ahoy. Let's high five on that. Ready, steady. Back for a big episode of That's a Shame, honestly. I've mixed up the intro today, and that's
honestly terrified by it.
Yeah, I saw the look in your eyes and I thought that's the fear of improv that we need to that's what we have to tap into to let those sparks flow between
Right,
us.
I see. Okay.
Like that big statue in the Science Museum that I was always too afraid to touch. Are you familiar with the chap?
Which one's this?
Oh, I don't know if it's still there. It's something of a haunting figure from my past. I think of it as you would a kind of stern father.
Right.
If
always hidden behind the Daily Telegraph.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't have that experience myself because he wasn't around, but that's by the by. There's this big statue.
You had this statue instead.
Yeah, and I really came to know and love this and fear.
To invite it to my ball games.
And it was at it was on a balcony, right? I don't know if you've seen any films. Have you seen any films of the Pope?
The Pope.
Or of any like royal figure?
I've seen
Diana.
Angels and Demons, the film.
Perfect. Okay, so get in your head the idea of a very important religious figure, probably one that's met God. And they're coming out to do a meet and greet with a big audience. They're going to be waving from a big balcony. It's going to be beautiful.
Involved?
That's optional.
Okay.
Because the statue didn't have a
body. If they are to wear a hat, how big?
Very tall.
Okay, good.
Well, the taller, the closer to God.
Godful, yeah.
Literally speaking. This statue had pride of place on a great big veranda. Beautiful it was. And it was a giant silver cylinder, girthy. Like you could hug it like a tree.
Oh, right, okay.
But you wouldn't want to.
Why not?
Because contained within the statue, you're imagining this big Pringles tube.
Yeah.
Must be 1,000 feet easily. There was a bit where it was like cut away and prison bars were there in a circle. And what were they keeping prisoner? Well, a secretive, if attractive little rod in the middle.
Okay.
And when you got closer, this is the sound that you'd hear. And it would get louder and louder, because if you touched it, it gave you an electric shock. And it was an installation about like restraint and about like threat, and why humans have evolved to kind of play with the boundaries of fear. But like, it's going to shock you.
If I
but
had
tourists
wanted,
are still going up and having a precedent.
If I had wanted to,
maybe
could
with
I
their
just
tongues.
like grab it?
Oh no, you couldn't, because the bars were such that you couldn't get a fist in.
Right. Okay.
You could maybe get a flat hand and tap it with multiple fingers at once, like the gold
I could
bar
do that
at the
And
Bank of England.
Is that confirmed by the Science Museum?
That's encouraged by the Science Museum.
Okay.
That was actually I think what the experiment was all about. It's like how many fingers can we get electrocuted at once?
Can we get on this
fingers?
fucking unearthed rod?
I never touched that rod.
No.
As long as I lived. I don't mean to use the past tense there because I'm still alive.
No.
But one day my mum made a challenge when we went to the Science Museum. She was like, if you touch it, I'll get you anything you want from the gift shop. And it was like, it was the ultimate kind of psychological warfare.
Yeah.
And I credit my mum, Catherine Dorr, with having taught me a lot of the tools of the trade when it comes to really getting under people's skin psychologically, because that, to this day,
you knew you couldn't do it. Yeah.
It plays me.
Now, do you think, you've mentioned a very religious element to the rod?
Yeah, the Jesus rod.
And a very kind of metaphysical, buzzing kind of mode. Now, recently, you've had a bit of physical ill health. You've not been all that well in the last year.
Well, let's remember these months.
Now, it could just be a factor of, you're getting old.
I doubt that, because I've never been younger, in some ways, spiritually.
But do you think maybe this is, it's not just you didn't get something from the gift shop. Maybe you're being kind of more severely punished by the rod.
So what you're saying is I need to go and lick the rod.
Yeah.
And feel that electrical tongue buzz.
I don't think it would be as simple as that, because I think, the rod would be like, that's pathetic. Like, you just come back because you've had a little kidney stone.
Fuck the rod.
Like, you're going to have to offer the rod something.
Nothing's little when it's in the ureter. Let me tell you this. I've got it in a bag. You want to?
Let's get it out.
We'll put it on the Twitter.
On the Twitter, yeah.
So, welcome back to the show.
Yep.
It's been something of an absence for you for the last, 8 days, pretty much.
And for you.
Yeah, less for me, because I feel like listeners know that I'm always there for them, and I don't know if that's a vibe that you project.
Have listeners got that impression that you're always there for them?
When I say always there for them, I mean always there, like listening,
I feel
judging.
I feel like you haven't been telling them about all these nights. You just trundle off to bed like, so we'll do it tomorrow, shall we?
They don't need to know about that.
Oh, sorry,
and
no. Okay.
The fact that you'd kind of try and use that as ammunition against me,
I'm not using
the
that
main
as ammunition.
host,
I assume that you've been open and honest with them about that already. Listeners,
we operate on a need-to-know basis, and what they need to know is that I'm better than Declan at loving you guys. Big time, long time.
Wow.
So back we are. Sorry it's late. We've got no excuse. And that's that.
Yeah.
We're trying our best, aren't we? I've been in hospital again.
Right. I think as well.
I'm fine now, though.
And this is a big claim.
Yeah.
But I think one that's substantiated.
Go on.
That the quality of the episodes has drastically improved, even though they are sparser.
It's interesting, because I've kind of lost context for what our episodes are anymore. Like, it's got to the point where I've listened to so many of them in us talking them now. Like, this is listen one. Then the editing, which, is brief, conveniently brief. And then listening to them again for like quality checking / I've run out of all other podcasts.
Yeah.
And the tube's still going purposes.
Keeping going.
Like the line between good and bad, I cannot perceive any longer.
No, I can. And I hadn't listened for a little while, and I listened back to some of our slightly older ones from a few months ago.
Very bad.
And they weren't very bad.
Very good.
But no, they weren't that
Oh,
either.
no.
They lie
hinterland
betwixt. They were just sort of quite nondescript. It reminded me of the old when I was banging on about the car every other episode kind of days.
The car
where,
days.
cool material, but...
How's the car now, by the way? Just to put
What?
one final follow-up.
Statutorily off-road.
Is that permanent or...
Well, I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, they had a bit of that vibe. But I think of late, we had Toby Milestone's
We've
King
been
on.
mixing it
That
up,
was fun.
for sure.
We did some riddles.
Yeah.
And that's coming back in a big way.
You better believe it is.
And I think if we can just keep this going, that the listeners will, if you are as close with them as you say,
yeah, well, I am.
then they'll forgive us.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So we're going to continue the showmentum as it's been going so far. I think unconventionally, I think we should start with an email that we had.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Which is an email that you read to me. And now, like a kind of poetic, that thing of like, I cared for you when you were a baby.
Yeah.
Now that I'm old and horrible, you have to look after me.
Jesus, one set of footsteps kind of vibe.
Yes, exactly that. I'm going to read to you.
Okay.
And maybe you'll just compare my reading with yours and you'll be like, some
I'll
lessons.
learn a thing or two. Yeah.
Guest inquiry sent to us from, I'm not going to give the whole email address, but know that it contains the word colossus at gmail.com.
Imagine I want the email address, know that it contains the word colossus at gmail.com.
Snap that up.
Yeah.
We've got to get that before this episode goes out because one of those crafty
People
listeners will be right on it. Hello, my name is John Shupeck, author of 6 horror and psychological thriller novels. Already 3 different genres.
Yep.
Shupeck spans.
Also, already more than we've written.
God,
really
yeah.
between us.
More than most people have written 6 novels.
Yeah.
I have a new book, his 7th, I assume, coming out within the next couple months, titled Separating You. Separating You. What does that? Let's get a gut check on that.
Well, it can't be a gut check because I know what it's about. Because if you recall, I read the email to you.
Just psychologically withdraw from the present and be like, what if?
The rest of us can't and won't
What
do
if
that.
I never heard that before? What if this is the first time they've removed this backing from my chest?
It makes me think of Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow's conscious uncoupling. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. So you're suggesting maybe there's going to be like a new age celebrity angle to separate.
I'm not suggesting that because I know that there's
seems
not.
to be definitely what you think is the case. Let's see if you're right.
Okay.
The premise of the story is that a serial killer has written a self-help book.
Right.
That's new age, to be fair, encouraging the reader to, quote, cast away the parts of themselves that they aren't using. Literally.
Oh.
Literally. Now that's in brackets, but it is big, you're right. Sometimes, often you'd
because
think...
it's big.
Well, yeah, you'd think the brackets would make it look smaller because they put a circle box around it. But actually, it's like a magnifying glass.
Because it needs to be contained.
Absolutely. I just began a surrealistic advertising campaign for the book, which is an amazing concept, and I'm really on...
Especially because you could have just said surreal. But what plucked for surrealistic?
Go for it. Complete with a website for the fictional characters, quote, clinic, and a phone number people can call to get updates about the book. Also, and this is a big also, and this is where the show comes in, I am offering my fictional character, Dr. Jason Carson, that's double sons in his name. Now, I can only assume that's going to be relevant.
Terrible twosome.
Well, no, I was going to think he's like his own grandpa, sort of
Like
vibes.
the Phil Harris song.
Exactly like that. As a guest on podcasts and radio shows, if this sounds like an interesting idea to you, and to whom is the idea of interviewing a fictional double son doctor not interesting, feel free to send me a response and we can talk more about it. The website is separatingyou.com, some free publicity there for Mr. Shupeck. You can call the phone number listed on the page to hear the greeting and get an idea of what this character would like to interview. So we're going to do this, aren't we?
Oh, 100%.
You're social media manager, so I expect you've drafted a...
I've actually already rung him up.
That's amazing.
We've got Tucson coming on.
Oh, can't wait.
No, we should get in touch.
Yeah,
definitely.
we should. I think it'll be very good.
I suggested that maybe we should interview as Mike and I.
I suggested we should do it as if we think they're a different fictional detective. Maybe each of us thinks it's a different one.
Another Justin Carson.
Yeah. I'd probably go for Taggart. And then most of my questions would be about like Scottish law. And just see what Carson can do with it.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Jason Carson will be portrayed by the author Phil Shupeck?
I didn't realise there was any alternative.
Well,
because I
no,
think
he could have hired someone.
No, he couldn't.
Oh,
definitely
are you
him.
sure?
Yeah.
I think that's good, though, because that shows that he stands behind his
He's got a lot of
characters.
confidence in the material.
Well, he understands that the character and that the literary text is just a vehicle for the author's mouth hole.
And also that any, wrongdoing that the character performs in the novel, we can
Well, it's
directly
definitely
trace back to
100%.
something he's done in real life.
Yeah, and we'll be reporting it
Yeah.
as such, as fact.
As soon as we've read the books.
So there we have it. That's something for you to mull over in this episode of That's a Shame. Did I say it? What number it was? 138?
Maybe.
Well, it is 138, so just enjoy that. Adds up to 12. Run with it. That adds up to 3, and that's the magic number.
That's a
how it came
cool
down.
idea, yeah.
Today, we're picking up a thread, perhaps many threads, and perhaps even weaving some new threads, because I honestly don't know what you've prepared, so I'm just guessing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What we've got is follow-up on something that I mentioned last episode, or the one before?
No, last episode.
Last episode, which was very good, and I remember the name of it, but I choose not to say it right
Let's
now.
get lateral.
That's Well, if you want to be so on the nose about it, absolutely. I mentioned an experience I'd had it turns out 2017. In my head, it was like the 90s, because I've done that thing of like pushing it far away from me.
Wow, weird. Not something I'd expected.
Well, what you do is you put the memory in a little sailboat,
I don't
and then
want
like
to
Reaper
know.
Cheap. You remember Reaper Cheap?
Nope.
The Mouse Knight.
No.
Narnia's Mouse Knight.
I don't remember any of it.
He wants to go where sky and water meet, where the sea is sweet. He wants to drink the sweet sea. With Prince Caspian.
The C.S. Lewis estate is onto you.
No, that is true.
He wants to drink the sea.
His whole character is he's a little
He
mouse.
wants to drink the sea.
He wants to drink the sea only in as much as it will show him
He
where
wants
God is.
to drink the sea.
Yes,
That's what you're saying.
yes. He's constantly drinking bits of sea until he finds where it's sweet.
Well,
when it goes sweet in the audiobook, I don't know who narrated the audiobook. In fact, I think it was multiple people. It was a BBC production. It was quite like high value. But the actor playing Reaper Cheap, they discover he falls out of a boat for some bad reason and he's drowning. And then they pull him up because he's only a little mouse or a rat or something. Pull him up and he's going spluttering. And then he goes, sweet, 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 in the most, like, I used to listen to him to go to sleep when I was about 7. And without fail, that bit would annoy me so much that I would take the tape out and start listening to like chapter 1 again, because he finds the sweet water and then he kills himself. Well, in the sense that he goes off the world and is never heard from again.
That is killing yourself. That's it. That's as fundamental
right
as
off
it gets.
the big world. So, like Reaper Cheap in the boat, I chucked that memory away and let it sail off to the edge of the known world, the flat Earth.
I think everyone had a kind of tape they fell asleep to as a kid, but there was a bit on it that would definitely keep them up. I think that's part of being a child. We had 2. Well, no, actually, no, we had 3.
That's pretty
I was
good.
telling you the other day that we had one of Disney songs that we used to listen to. But
To go to sleep, though.
Yeah.
But weren't you singing along and maybe jiving?
We were doing that.
All of
Probably less of the jiving.
disappointing.
But it was quite long, and we were younger, so it was easier to get to sleep then. And
That's the saddest sentence I ever heard.
Don't worry about that.
I just snapped my band as you said that.
Oh, no.
As if it's like a Hercules.
Well, this is sad. This is full of bad omens.
That was like the lifeline.
But there was Little April Showers, the Bambi song on it. And so you'd just be like getting off to sleep. And
It starts
that
really
little-
nicely, doesn't it?
And then you're like, your eyelids are just closing, and then you're just falling, and then
It gets very spooky very quickly. That's yeah.
And then it's like just haunted screaming for about a solid 10 minutes, and then it goes back to being drip.
Some
drip,
of the
drop.
end lyrics are creepy as well. There's a bit where it's like drip, drop, drip, drop. I'll never be afraid.
Drip, drop, drop, dead.
With it's like a gay little something, Little April serenade. It's a very nice song. Very spooky to fall asleep to.
We had one of the Jungle Book.
But the official Kipling Jungle Book.
No, it was
okay,
like a
the Disney.
Disney shortened version
gonna say, it
with
was
like
very
little
cool.
clips of audio from the film. But
That's pretty cool.
But there was a bit at the end of one of the sides where, when we were younger, my brother and I had recorded over it when it had been in like a little cassette machine we had. So Colonel Harty's telling someone off. And then there's just me at like 3 years old going, record, it says record.
That's really spooky.
It was a really weird
I
voice.
don't like that at all.
And then we had a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, a kind of like Jules Verne, well, very Jules Verne, he wrote it.
Yeah, very directly.
But there was just this, there was a really horrible bit where the submarine gets trapped in ice, and it really terrified me.
How does Nemo take to that?
He's not happy.
I knew.
There was just a moment where it was like, oh, and we woke up, and then someone goes, ice! We're surrounded by ice!
He had a knack for dialogue.
It had a really kind of creepy soundtrack underneath. It was sort of half haunted, sort of hollow synthy sounds.
I like this.
Yeah, but it was creepy as hell to try and fall asleep. And every night I'd know vaguely when it was coming up and be like, God, if I'm not asleep in 5 minutes, I'm not sleeping for hours.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But I was a dumb kid, so I listened to it all the time.
Nice. And you feel that's had any effect on you now? You can only sleep when there's some sort of synth playing, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Like, we all have our baggage, and it's good of you to bring yours to the fore today.
I've got more if you...
No, we're fine. Moving on. Don't have all day. We're picking up the big thread that was this experience I had in 2017 of being involved in a kind of living nightmare of mundanity of the highest order when faced with the lateral thinking puzzle from the real life of an internet stranger who I've never heard from since I tried to get in touch with as part of the follow-up here, but has vanished from the internet.
Oh, no.
Like, their Discord is gone, their Reddit has gone. I mean, those are the only two I checked. But
That's mad.
What I'm saying is they probably are dead now. And probably as a result of the kind of malfeasance that took place in this chat. So I went through, and luckily Discord keeps very long records, so this is like a couple of years now, and I managed to pull out, I think it was like 140 pages of chat log.
Disgusting.
And then I spent 4 hours over 2 days at work editing it down into a slightly more reasonable 90 something pages. But I mean, it's very, yeah, as you can see, you've got it now there.
Yeah.
There's like maybe 8 lines of dialogue per page.
Okay.
We're going to attempt to read some of it now. I can't promise all of it today, and I can't promise all of it ever, in fact, because I just don't know how it's going to play. It's an experiment for us.
And I'm going to jump in at some point with some random...
Yeah, and also
I found.
when the mood strikes, we're just going to segue in and out of it, because we're trying to capture the artistic spirit of the surrealism that was experienced by those who took part in events as they unfolded on that fateful, memorable night, August 10th, 2017.
Wow.
Let's just divvy up the characters. So you're going to be playing, we'll introduce you, we'll give you the like dramatis personae.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be playing yourself.
I'll be playing me.
Yeah.
Now, that's a role that I've shied away from in the past
Every day.
for fear of
Every single day.
fear of knowing too much
Right.
about, you know, the meat suit that we
Yeah.
all wear. But I will give it my best shot. I don't really want any feedback about if I do that well or not.
Don't worry, I will give it to you anyway.
Good. You're going to be playing primarily the antagonist of the piece. Quadraxis is his name. Is that going to be that's going to be your default voice, I think?
Can be. I was thinking, given that he is the sort of villain, the faceless cyber villain here, that I might do him in a kind of text-to-speech vibe.
What? Yeah, you could, but I need you to really... The thing, if I was directing this, which I guess I am now, that I would be telling my actor is that...
It's cool. It's just
go on.
just fun, because you had this cool caveat before you started that you wouldn't be taking notes. It's just it's just very interesting.
I'm happy
that
to give them.
Oh, thank God!
That's generosity.
Well, no, I didn't want you to, break your own principles
no.
on like this.
Only
No
flows one
notes.
way.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. No. Well, I wouldn't expect.
When you're happy to have them.
Anything
so
more.
Quadraxis is an everyman, and I don't mean that in a good way. I mean that he's like the blandest Joe Blogs. He could be any of us.
So, and just to confirm, you want me to do my normal voice for that?
Well, no, what I'm saying is I need you to portray him as like he could be. Like any of us could be Quadraxis.
Okay.
That's the problem. We don't know who's harbouring these mad riddles and who thinks of their life in terms of what is this riddle that I'm living. the other main character is called Cerity, and I think that's going to be you as well.
Yep, I'll do Cerity.
I have an instinct that this is a woman, so if you want to bring...
Shan't be doing
Well,
voice.
you'll have to do a different voice. What are you going to go for? If you give us Cerity's first line, that's why I messaged
one I'll just do as my voice,
Yep.
and the other I'll just do as a kind of weird text-to-speech.
Why I messaged you.
No, see, I won't be doing that.
You have to capture
I
Cerity's
can't
character.
and won't.
What about if you did it as just like you were talking on the phone to a very old, very fragile man? Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll have the bus pick you up in the morning. Absolutely, like that
That's
kind
a
of...
cool view you have of women. That.
No, that's not a women, that's Cerity.
Oh, sorry, right, okay. No,
God,
it's just,
make
it
me
seemed
sick
that
with
you,
your
for the one
presumptions.
female character here that you just...
There are other female characters, actually, and I think you're going to really regret saying that because some of them are incredibly forceful,
Okay,
incredibly
and you're going to
strong.
be bringing that...
I will be
I'm so...
absolutely...
so
the world is crying
excited.
out for some of that.
I went to the pub with friend and flatmate Mark recently.
I know him, yeah.
And we played a very fun game that I came up with of Guess Who.
Wow, you came up with that,
Yeah,
did you?
but the thing is, you weren't allowed to
sell
ask any questions about what people physically looked like, about any of their actual features.
Okay.
You just had to ask questions about, like, does your character go to church, or do they vote
that's a good
Tory
idea.
or whatnot? And it was a very fun game.
Hang on, but what were you doing it with the actual Guess
Yeah,
Who
with the
people?
actual Guess Who
Yeah.
board. And there, there was a point where, here's the thing about Guess Who, especially this particular version, which I think was like late 80s, 90s or something,
Wow, retro.
is that A, every character was white,
Yep.
and B, only 4 were women.
Wow.
And I got to a point where I was trying to guess marks, and the only people I had left up were the 4 women. And I remembered earlier that I'd asked the question, does your person buy a daily newspaper?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd answered, I don't think they've ever bought a newspaper apart from maybe for the TV section. And between us, we'd correctly whittled it down to be
Wow.
one of only the 4 women. And I was like, Mark,
Sexism alive
I'm
and well.
afraid it's a shame that you could give that opinion, but then also that it be a very knowable one.
Well, the problem is not with you guys, it's with the Guess Who sexists
Community.
themselves. Yeah. I played a version of Guess Who recently that has exchangeable boards. So you get like an apparatus
right, yeah.
and you can pull out the people
Yeah.
and sub it in with bonus. So there's one that's like just other people. I think they're harder. They're like fewer really obvious things, like not just a big hat or like a giant scar.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is part of Guess Who. I added that myself.
Yeah.
There's one that's really good, which is animals. It's a really fun one.
Okay.
And then there's one that they got recently, which is, it sounds like I play Guess Who a lot, and I do, which is shapes. And they hadn't played it before. They'd just got it in. So they were like, oh yeah, try it out, see how it goes. So I was playing it with this girl who's probably about 6.
Yeah.
And she wanted to try out the new one. And she
you
put
were
it in.
kicking her
And
off.
she went, are you a square? I was like, yeah. Like, where do you go with it? They weren't different colours. They were just different
were
shapes.
just different
It's like,
shapes.
do you have 3 sides? No. Do you have
Okay, pop
4
the
sides?
triangle down.
Yeah. Like, what do you do with that information? It's such a
That's an
bad
incredible-
idea.
How many shapes were there?
There were loads. There were some really outlandish ones.
There
were some that were just different, like lines. There was a letter. There was the letter R.
Right, okay, sure.
guess
The
it's a
classic shape.
So, all of which is to say, I will be Isaac, you will be Quadraxis and Cerity. There's a whole host of like people who come in and out because this was in a public chat room.
Yeah.
And I guess we're just gonna have to feel that out.
Yeah,
and just
sure.
see. Sometimes we might both jump in and feel like we have a different take on the same
That's
character.
the chaotic energy of the internet.
As long as we're differentiating the voices well enough. But also, I don't mind if we aren't, because the whole thing was, like I said, just a cascade of...
When I'm reading things like this, as in like large chat rooms or whatnot, or Twitch feeds or something, which obviously is impossible to read.
Yeah.
But I never end up bothering to see who said what.
No,
It's just
you
one
kind of
string
derive it from
chat.
context. The following took place. It's called the Garage Riddle, or the Garage Riddle,
No,
perhaps.
the Garage Riddle.
The following took place on the night of the 10th of August 2017 into the early hours of the 11th, over a period of between 5 to 6. I've found out since 5 to 7 hours.
Oh, no.
6 to 7. It was on the Discord server for a subreddit, r casual conversation. This is me talking now, parenthetically. The reason that I'm on there is that I clicked on it once just to see what was going on. And what was going on was that an old man who lives in the middle of nowhere in Canada was in voice chat to about 50 people, giving an incredible acoustic guitar concert
Wow.
for like 3 hours. And it was about 1 a.m. my time. And I was up doing some work. So I just like had it on and it was amazing. I've never left, because he's actually in this as well. He's the character Handshape.
Okay.
You'll see. He pops in every now and then and does some little open mic. It's lovely.
Oh.
I've edited out some chat from random people that didn't directly relate to the main thread, but kept in some shorter interludes for authenticity. Scene 1 begins.
Anyone want to try and solve my garage riddle? Anyone at all?
No.
Cripes. Yeah, that's why I messaged you. Instead of saying it on here. No spoiling the solution, quad. At Serity, want to give the garage puzzle a go, K.
Sticky with that voice, huh?
Yeah. I was already thinking before.
I would like to. I've not heard it.
Ask yes or no questions. I like ask yes or no questions. I don't really like lateral puzzles. Wow.
What's the puzzle?
Why do I make a point of leaving the garage backwards? Incredible.
Isn't that an amazing thing to
way
call
to
a puzzle?
posit a question?
Why do I
make a point? Not why do I have to, not why must I?
What you'll find is a thread is that this guy, I don't know if he's trolling, and I don't think he is, because like I felt like I got to know him over this period. He has the most incredible knack for accidental ambiguity and weird phrasing that makes it seem like there's a lot going on, where it turns out
There's
nothing is going on.
Serity's got a very interesting take coming up. It's one of those lateral thinking puzzles, like they're dead on the floor surrounded by glass and water. Explain. The dog knocked over the goldfish bowl. This is actually real life.
This is Handshape now. At Quadraxis, because you're in your damn car.
I always leave the garage backwards. Handshape, that doesn't make sense though. Nope. Because when you get out of the car and park, you'd also have to leave on foot backwards.
Unless the garage itself is a mess.
Quadraxis again with a good explanation here of the puzzle, making it much easier to solve.
Madder.
Maybe not 100% of the time, but at least 95% of the time for me. Ask yes or no questions. Okay, no, okay.
Is the garage a mess?
No. Are you leaving through the same door every time? Brackets, in car and on foot.
Is the garage on the back of the house? Do you usually have your hands full?
Okay, calm down. Well, it's just to ask questions. He can't. They're only yes or no. All he has to do is Y or N.
You wanted this.
I will answer your questions in sequence.
Use at to identify the person you're replying to.
Ignoring said advice, Quadraxis says, Serity, no, Handshape, no, double twice, a no.
It's you.
So you go backwards both through the main garage door, brackets, in the car, and also the side door on foot.
Let me just pause. Serity, I first of all, love what you're bringing
No.
to it. And there's no bad ideas in rehearsal
No.
and in workshopping. You
Sorry,
are getting the
it's your
character
line.
very wrong. And I wonder if that's something you want to correct.
your line.
Because Serity is a force of intellect, and she has a knack. She's barrister-like in her ability to really reason through a problem. You're making her sound like a sort of weak sweet shop owner.
Well, you said to speak as if on the phone to an old elderly
I know,
man.
but who's got the power? Obviously, the young person.
Well,
is
also,
not
she
at
doesn't
death's
like
door.
these puzzles.
She doesn't like them, and I think that the mood she's in is like, oh, let's just get this done. So you go backwards both through the main garage door, like she's a bit of a Hermione Granger.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That's just some. Let me just tap you on the shoulder.
Go ahead.
That's just some advice.
Okay, that's good.
You've taken that in good spirits.
Yeah.
I
have.
I knew
For that
you
reason,
would.
I'm just going to do a quick detour, and we'll come back to this in a
Sure.
second, just to give me time
to get into
to
it.
process. I'm going to start doing a recurring feature on this show, whether you like
Have you
it
cleared
or
that
not.
with me?
Yeah. I've been given by Toby Milestone's King
Yes, I
a
remember
copy of a book, and I can't tell you what it's called.
Oh yeah, you actually can't.
Yeah.
It's pre-publication.
Nor who it's by. But I can tell you that it's been sold to me as a cross between John Grisham and 50 Shades of Grey, which is, feel safe in saying, a crossover literally no one on earth, A, predicted, or B, asked for.
I happen to know a lot of people asked for it never to happen.
Yeah.
So you're quite correct.
You were leading that charge. That was another
It's
of
a
your big
subreddit that I
subreddits.
run,
Yeah. But I have been given a copy, and I have
Is this through some devious backhanded means?
No, it's not at all.
It's nepotism.
No, it's promotion. It's promotional materials.
Are we promoting this book that we can't name?
Yeah,
Or-
well, we are promoting it in a sense because I'm going to be telling you about it and how bad.
Well, save your judgment.
Okay, yeah.
I guess like reserved
But
judgment.
it is hilariously poor. So I will be updating you on that. Thankfully, it is hilariously poor in a much more readable fashion than Ready Player One. And
Yeah.
because it's pre-publication and nobody knows what it is, I don't have to feel embarrassed about reading it publicly on the train
Although
like I did
I
Ready
can see
Player
the
One.
temporary cover art, and you do.
Yeah, it's horrid, but
Might want to put a
but
dust
at
jacket
least
on it.
at least people don't know the specific
True.
horror of what I'm reading. But in that vein, I found a similar kind of burrow of content
Wow, a content barrow. Really
by
nice.
the content rabbit.
Yeah, that's a lovely image. Very woodlands.
Thank you. I've been going for a more bucolic vibe.
It's beautiful. It's idyllic.
Thank you. And this one I came across in the not quite so bucolic environment of Twitter. And it led me on quite a little quest to find some more material that's similar. Thankfully, there were very many people willing to chime in. And it is a quote from one of Lee Child's Jack Reacher novels.
Ah, yes, I've not read any of those.
No, neither have I.
Have you seen any of the films?
I have not.
Me
I've
neither.
decided very much on purpose to stay away from them because I
So-
like to keep my Tom Cruise material
Minimal.
tip top.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to get overburdened with Tom's
Exactly.
likeness.
You don't want to get oversaturated with the Cruise. No. Now, the Jack Reacher novels, they're a sort of vague action series.
Oh, very
vague,
good.
not in the sense of like, are they action, aren't they? They are kind of like thrillers, as it were. Vague in the sense of they're all the same book.
Interesting.
And what I found is that they even use some identical imagery
That's cool.
across them, sentences lifted from book to book.
So he's probably using the same verbs, like Jack will be spying,
Same
running,
adjectives.
fighting, same
Yeah.
adjectives, but maybe some different nouns just in terms of like London, Rome,
Yeah.
Paris.
Now, the other thing that seems to be the case with Jack Reacher is, now I don't know his backstory. I don't know if he's got some kind of Bourne,
No, I
Jason
don't either.
Bourne-esque like memory loss.
And I don't know if it's relevant that his name elides into Jack Reacher. Like, is he
I
some
think
kind
it
of
must be.
hybrid? Like, that must be a plot point.
But what I am going to say is that he has a very weird breadth of knowledge combined with some very weird gaps in the knowledge.
That's to be expected.
Sometimes he knows nothing about some of the most mundane and everyday aspects
Yeah,
of
yeah,
life.
yeah.
And at others, he has the most specific knowledge about things nobody cares about.
Right. This is a proud literary tradition back to Conan Doyle and Holmes, isn't it? Because he doesn't, in the study of Scala, whatever it's called, he
Yeah.
doesn't know what the solar system is or anything.
No.
And yet he knows that Dr. Watson's,
alcoholic.
fucking his cousin. I
obviously.
think that's
It was obvious. He was proud.
He was doing it when he walked in. Aha.
So this was a picture of the text
Yep.
from the book, and it was posted with the caption, Jack Reacher uses a computer.
Okay.
And here is the quote. He moved the mouse and sent the arrow up towards the icons.
Sent is a very, very choice verb.
He knew they were files. Full stop. Or file folders.
Oh, okay. Couldn't be sure.
You had to click on them, and in response, they would open.
Sure.
He was never sure whether you had to click once or twice. He had seen it done both ways.
He hadn't. You cannot click once to open a file.
His usual habit was to click twice, if in doubt, etc. Maybe it helped, and it never seemed to hurt. Like shooting someone in the head. A double tap could do no harm.
Wow. That's, what's the opposite of laboured? Because it's that.
It's an incredible, does Lee Child know how to use a computer? Or did he just choose? I think I prefer a world in which he chose to have Jack Reacher be so
really cool,
hugely technologically illiterate.
And it would be thematically interesting. It's like the whole plot of Skyfall.
Yeah.
Bond doesn't know what a file is. So he has to move to
sat
Scotland.
there single clicking really slowly until
Judi
Javier
Dent's just getting
Bardem comes and beats him to death. Someone replied with perhaps an equally interesting photograph of some text with the caption almost as thrilling as his previous arch nemesis, the Romford branch of Boots.
What's he doing in Romford?
Well, don't ask. She used the menu again and the arrows. I'm assuming he's talking about the mouse again.
In Boots?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wait for it.
We'll get to that.
She said, it's set on silent. I nodded again.
I know what that means.
So that's what happened. I should give this Romford number to General O'Day, don't you think? MI5 could trace it. To a cash payment in Boots the Chemist.
Boots the Chemist?
Which no one under the age of 70
I think
has ever
that's
said.
their legal trading name, but it's certainly not what they're called.
No, doesn't help. What's Boots the Chemist? Their farm.
It sounds like a rapper, Chance the rapper.
I'm not doing the American accent, but you can imagine it. Okay. Their pharmacy chain, like CVS. John Boot set it up in the middle of the 19th century. He probably looked just like the guy who built the wall around Wallace Court. It started out as a herbal medicine store in a place called Nottingham, which is way north of here.
Nottingham. Why is this Jack Reacher saying that?
Yeah.
It's not someone who works for Boots the Chemist.
Nope. That's Jack Reacher.
So he's done his research.
He is not going to be defeated.
He knows the world's pharmacy chains like the back of his battle-scarred, tissue-laden hands.
I've just found... do you want some descriptions of his hands? Because let me tell you, there are many. We'll get onto those in a second. But before then, we need this incredible quote. It's one line that someone has delighted me by sharing. And the line is, I had never eaten yogurt myself, but I had seen some.
Wow, good for you.
Which is an amazing, again, gap.
Yeah, very weird.
This is from How Big Are Jack Reacher's Hands? An investigation.
Okay.
Reacher put his left fist on the table, the size of a supermarket chicken. Long, thick fingers with knuckles like walnuts. Old nicks and scars healed white against his summer tan.
This is the size of a supermarket chicken is mad.
Here's another quote.
That is huge. That's like Hagrid's hands.
And he was wide. From shoulder to shoulder, he looked like 4 basketballs in a rack in her high school gym. He had fists like Thanksgiving turkeys.
Whoa! Why is it always a different bird?
Wait for it.
He had an emu on the end of each forearm.
Reacher crammed himself in the seat. He put his elbow on the armrest. His left hand hung loose, the size of a dinner plate. The guy stared at it for a second. Long, thick fingers with knuckles like walnuts.
Again.
Old nicks and scars healed white.
No, he's... Oh, bless him. Weird. Very, very weird thing to write there, Lee.
So
Why did they cast small actor Tom Cruise to play turkey-fisted giant Jack Reacher?
Small actor, but big hands.
Is that
the hands seem bigger by comparison.
I guess I've never noticed because he always holds them so far away from the camera.
Yeah, doing the Naruto run towards us.
He loves that, doesn't he?
So I'm hoping to get some similar material from our secret book.
Yeah, we need to come up with a code name for the book, I think.
Okay.
But it can't be, I can't say it because it will just be so close to the actual title. Oh dear.
We're going to call it
let's just call it a secret, but
Okay, yeah, probably best.
probably legally advisable not
Yeah.
to go too deep into that. Right, I'm back in the play.
So you go backwards, both through the main garage door in the car and also the side door on foot. No. No.
So why not just say, oh no?
I actually said 95% of the time I said I make it a point to... Can we just assume for the purposes of this that our questions are referring to the 95% of the time? Because I'm busy reading questions. Yes, now I will. So when someone says every time, etc., okay, they mean 95% of the time. Got it, ask away. Same question then. Do you leave through the same door every time? Yeah. So do you use a car as a form of transportation? A car that is parked in the garage? Currently no. But it'd be true even if I did.
Other good reasons to back out: pulling a door shut to lock it or manually closing a garage door.
This has a logical solution, I like it.
Is there a logical reason one can conclude by asking a certain question?
Yeah, obviously.
No, not obviously.
What? Why not? If there's a logical solution, there's a logical reason one could confirm by asking.
There's this tiny little spider, bro, that crawls up my wall every night. And then the scariest emoji you ever did see.
Of a sort of Mr. Chips from
melting
Catchphrase.
Mr. Chips.
sweating buckets and screaming
front
into
of
the
a
abyss.
tree tribunal. Have you been waving to a closer primary
He does
school,
look like a man who's
Mr.
been
Chips?
falsely accused of the worst crimes.
Not falsely.
No, he looks like he's
Accurately.
been accused falsely.
yeah.
But obviously, Mr. Chips is the guiltiest sinner alive.
Really clear as day. I was asking if there were a logical solution just before you said there was one.
Well, if it were just a lock, he could leave the garage forwards and then turn around and lock it.
What's the question?
Why do I always make a point of leaving my garage backwards? Oh, okay.
I being Quadraxis. Because he drives forwards into it so as not to hit stuff. I don't know.
Well, thanks for your
Great
thanks for your-
input. Pow, wow, wow.
Not only is it the only solution we've already crossed off the list, you followed up with "I don't know."
And came barreling in with some spider
how
chat.
about you fuck off?
I think he does.
Does the answer involve some sort of involuntary habit or superstition? For example, OCD, that famous superstition. I'm 19 years old, I can't drive. Great question. Driver's license is 16 in USA. And you'd think it'd be true given me, but no, I know, but I only have my G1.
Don't know what that means.
I think it's a type of license, like a provisional.
Oh, that says you don't have OCD.
I'm just asking because some people have habits of have to flip the light switch 3 times before leaving the room. Understandable, I have certain rituals as well. I don't want to know what any of those are.
I have to touch doorknobs whenever I see one.
But this has nothing to do with them. Fuck off twice double, you are a creep. That was my own little line there.
parenthesis.
Sorry. I feel I'm really beginning to embody Quadraxis, so I
you get
felt
to
the
know
need to improv as him. Yeah.
I can see you getting into his skin.
I reckon most people would leave the door backwards in my shoes. That's a terrifying statement.
Okay, that's good information. At this point, someone posts a big picture of a doorknob. My dad used to do shit like that to me.
What twice double? That is not a doorknob, it is a picture of a doorknob. Fuck off, Serity. Serity doesn't like the lateral thinking puzzles, but she wants to get him with some existentialist bollocks. I know.
Yeah, I know. The tragedy of images.
Quadraxis, are you ensuring that some sort of animal is not escaping? No.
I have a shirt that says this is not a pipe, but it's a Mario Bros pipe.
Although I do have a dog, wow, great shirt. Quadraxis, is it... Sarity's got that kind of vibe of a young child. Every time she's got to say his name.
Yeah.
Like when I told you about, what was it, Steve McManaman, the footballer. I overheard him having a phone call to his daughter. And at one point, he just stopped this clearly 7-year-old girl from talking and said to her, you don't have to say daddy before everything. It's just the two of us on the phone. I'll assume if you ask questions that they're
girl.
for me.
She was crushed.
Quadraxis, is it due to some special certain characteristic of the door or attachment? For example, a certain way it opens or closes, or you can't open it if you don't use a certain amount of force?
It's a good line of questioning, I think, at this point.
Okay, yeah, it's all right.
What did I say?
Nope. By attachment, I mean lock or doorknob. Tell me if you want a hint.
You mean there's no the?
These are hints.
What's twice double going on
He's
about?
having his own
You mean there's
conversation
no the?
somewhere else. It's like he's typing it into a different chat, but it's just appearing in here. Ha, you said it already, he said it again. Is Medusa on the other side of the door and will petrify you if you look at her? I like that Cerity went from a very functional guess to, is it's the feature of Greek myth? No.
Oh.
I'm talking logical here, yes. Medusa is very logical. Puffed.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
Ha.
If there were a Medusa there, that'd definitely be logical.
Is the reason you exit the garage backwards related to something outside of the garage before you leave it? In other words, something on the other side of the door. Is your biggest pet peeve hearing it being called the persistence of time instead of memory?
Going to answer that question with a question there, Cerity. Is the reason that you exit the garage backwards so you'd have this hard-ass riddle to ask us?
No and no.
Because that's exactly why I would do it, just to fuck with people.
Wow, twice double is very cool. Between these, this is not a pipe t-shirt.
Except it's a Mario pipe.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, no mistake.
It's very cool.
No, this is an amazing double message that defies all like internal logic from Quadraxis, who claims to be the most logical of all. No, looking this riddle up, I made it myself. Like,
where would you
where will we look?
His diary.
Do you leave through the large garage door? Because it's based off my life. No, I don't. Do you leave through a side door into the house/building? Yeah, although it's in the back, but who cares? What this? That's like the most pertinent question that's going.
He's got such a limited grasp on what is an interesting fact to share.
Yeah.
He has no knowledge.
And what may or may not be relevant to the answer. And I assume that's because the answer is very good.
Well, let me just put this on record now. The answer is very good.
Okay, good.
Very satisfying.
All right.
Very conclusive.
And it's worth 94 pages of...
Absolutely.
Perfect. Do you leave through a side door to outside? No. Just wanted to make sure there's only one exit we are talking about. I answered yes to the building house. Oh, okay. And not the possibility of more than one. For example, a garage might go to the front yard, backyard, and into the house. Kay, I have never seen that, and thanks for reminding me of what word. It's a good one. Learned a new word yesterday.
What words are you talking about?
I have no idea.
Is it house?
I think...
What could he mean?
There has been no word that he could be on about.
So we're 12 pages in, and there's been no Isaac. And I've been watching, just to bring you into my headspace. I had this on my second screen and I was doing something else. I can't remember what. It was important. I was doing something else and I was finding myself unable as it continued to look away from it. There's something about this guy, Quadraxis, that I find so hypnotizing. It's something to do with the fact that he doesn't understand what he's saying at all. Yeah. And yet it's such a compelling form of madness.
Yeah, it's very
So I was
odd.
just getting more and more sucked in. And at this point, I barreled in. Can I eliminate, I said, the possibility that you're being ambiguous about the use of, quote, leave?
Can you elaborate?
Cerity.
When you say exit the garage backwards, you do mean so you are facing the garage interior, correct?
You're using it to mean exit, not that you allow the garage to remain in its standard orientation, which could feasibly be described as backwards in some sense.
Yeah.
Phew. Anyway, working day tomorrow, off to bed. I would have had to literally stab my own eyes out if that had been the case. So I was worried that he was going for linguistic technicality of why do I leave it backwards? And what he meant was that he turned
it
certain
all around,
objects. And that would have obviously... I'd have done a crime.
That's what twice double would have done.
Yeah, it is what he would have done, the Mario pipe freak.
As in leave the garage into my home.
By handshape.
Already that's different from what I thought he meant.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I know. And
it's
he
mad
just reveals that.
He just reveals that he means leave the garage
Into
to
his
go
house.
into the house,
Yeah.
not leave the property.
It's mad.
On page fucking 15.
Good night, hand shape. Oh.
Yes. Was that yes for me?
Does leaving involve a ladder? And then someone called Gloomy Roomy does that thing where you do /me waves.
That's their first
I
interaction
don't
as
think
well.
they're back.
No.
To turn off the lights as you go inside Quadraxis?
Ooh, that was a good question. A really good question.
At me.
And no about ambiguity of leave. Wait. Also, The Mentalist was a great TV show.
I did a heart emoji.
Do you want to explain why she
Because I
just said
used
that?
the name The Mentalist in a lot of internet
There you go.
capacities because I liked the TV show with Patrick Jane. that I
She's
was-
not just like randomly saying
Well,
that.
may as well, to be honest.
Depends on the time of day.
So it sometimes relates to turning off the lights. Sweet.
Quad, no, as in, is the reason you go backwards to be in order to turn off the lights? But usually I use the lights outside of the garage to turn it off.
Misses every single question.
It's like
It's like he's immune
He
to
must have
knowledge.
really bad internet. Like, he must be getting this a minute after everyone else.
No, well, he is, but not because of the internet.
Oh, just because of his own
neural
mind. It
network.
takes a minute to reach from the eyes to
He's
the brain.
just staring at it for 20 minutes and then answers the exact wrong bit of the question.
No.
He's like
He
a
just says-
robot designed to frustrate.
Yeah.
But sometimes I say you don't need to turn off the lights and still go backwards.
So no. Not do you do it as you leave?
Does backwardsness relate to a heavy object you have to move, like a security door?
No.
To shut the door which opens into the garage?
No, okay.
Man, I thought I had it with the light sketches.
Shall I point you in the right direction? Good guess. Is the door a standard door that you might find anywhere? Yeah, a little raised, but it doesn't matter. Can you move from the garage to the house by simply opening the door and walking through the doorway as normal?
I'm so into it now, like I'm suckered in.
Yeah, I can
and
see.
So right, we should consolidate what we know so far.
I think that would also be a good idea for our listeners. So what do we know so far?
We know that the question, which we lose track of myriad times in what's to come, because he keeps sort of accidentally not moving the goalpost so much as forgetting that there were ever any goalposts.
Deleting the goalposts.
Yeah, no longer playing a sport that involves a goal or posts of any sort. So the question was, why 95% of the time, do I exit the garage backwards? And it turns out through questioning that he means leaving a garage that goes into his own house.
Yeah.
So it's a man who's in a garage for whatever reason and claims he has a logical, consistent reason to 95% of the time step out of it backwards, which is weird. Like, it's a weird image. There's something I find quite like Lynchian and compelling about just the idea of what he's posing as a riddle. Because if you're going to ask that question to someone, you've got to think that the answer is interesting. Like, that is a given.
I've got an idea for a really stupid lateral thinking reason why it might be. I'm certain it's wrong, but I'm thinking this light switch business had me thinking.
It piqued your interest.
Yeah, it piqued my interest. Wrongly, I'm certain, given there's
we can ask
70 odd
him.
pages. But that maybe if he goes in forwards, when he opens the door, if there's a window opposite, if the lights in the garage are on or if they're off, then he might see a reflection of
his own
himself
scary
and get
face.
scared, and therefore he goes in backwards so he can avoid it.
That would be good. But why 95% of the time?
Sometimes he forgets.
Sometimes he's really brave. This 5% thing it's an example of when he gives off a bit of information that I think he thinks is less relevant than it is. And latching onto that 5% of the time proves to be key to not solving it, but certainly
unearthing.
wasting a lot of time.
They're close, aren't they?
We should consolidate what we know so far.
From the ground level of the garage, yeah. So there's 2 floors to the garage. Oh, no.
Does the door swing away from you as you go in, or do you open it towards you?
That's actually a really good question, because that would be such a dumb reason for it to be. Misinterpreting, I meant from the ground floor of the garage. So that's not a yes/no. 2 times 2.
It's a classic riddle term.
Sarah T loves it.
A YN 2x2.
Although you can easily reframe it, lol. Okay.
Dadoy.
Twice double is such a
little
chaotic
troll.
neutral. Just in there fucking it up.
Does the door swing away from you as you go in?
Man, if the answer was just so the door can be closed behind you because the door opens into the garage, it opens away from me. Lol. No, it's not. Wait, I mean, are you in a wheelchair?
I think that's a good...
It is, yeah. But it just comes out of nowhere in the middle of Quadraxis trying to clarify what he means. Yeah. He says, no, it's not. Wait, I mean, are you in a wheelchair? Inwards, no.
Good question, though.
Physical condition has nothing to do with it. Or do you have any other physical ailment that would prohibit you from... Okay. Good question.
It opens towards you, then?
Yeah. Does it open into the house?
Okay.
That doesn't matter, though. I can tell you which way it opens.
Quad,
you would think that you could, but it's been 3 pages of asking, and we still don't know if it opens into the garage or into the house.
That initial bit of advice that Handshake gave to people when he responds proves so thoroughly ignored, because we spend maybe 2 hours failing to make any progress because it's unclear. Like, he just says yes, no, maybe no, yes,
wait,
inwards. And you're like, one of those had the answer, and we just look like we overlook it time and time again. Quad, do most people enter backwards or just you?
But either way.
Does anything that's been raised so far relate to the answer? Good question from me.
Yeah. I mean, exit...
it did when it opened the other way.
As far as I know, no.
Which I assume is to me. In saying that nothing raised relates.
I assume that too.
Probably,
could be.
Probably not.
Quad, does it open towards the house or towards the garage? But I have a good reason for doing so. To be clear, it's irrelevant to the question. I've got a really strong feeling it's not. I'm going to say that like either way, 50% of theories could be abandoned. Yes, but it would help us mentally picture what's happening.
Would it be fair to say that the reason you go backwards has more to do with you than the garage door or combination thereof?
You're working on such a different level to Quadraxis. Quadraxis doesn't know what you're asking.
Sometimes
that's the problem.
Sometimes, like, I adopt a number of different methods throughout this, let's call it what it is, ordeal, to try and get through to Quadraxis. And it turns out there is no way. So you can ask him very simple, direct questions, but then his answer will get lost in replying to 8 others. You can ask him a very comprehensive question, and he'll just go and do the washing up for a bit. That happens soon.
Right. Wow.
We're in the middle of questions. He's like, I've got to go. I'll be back in a bit. So cool. No, it's not 4 a.m. or anything. I haven't invested 4 hours.
I think you probably have more of a chance with him not there.
Quite possibly. Just planning it out in our own scale models.
Okay, I'll check. Lol.
Well, I give up. Someone message me the answer when it's done.
It's sad that he says that 75 pages before you come to an answer in the edited version.
I've spent my life well.
Yeah. Yes. Quadraxis, does the reason have anything in particular to do with your shoes? Yes, good job.
Ooh.
Quadraxis, I reckon most people would leave backwards in my shoes.
That's a quote. Yeah. So he said, most people would leave the door backwards in my shoes. That turns out to be key.
Yeah.
To wipe your feet.
Bang. You found the accidental hint.
Gloomy Roomy's back with an ooh.
That wasn't accidental at all. Not quite. You did that on purpose. I think she's flirting.
Yeah. She's getting in.
That's what women do.
In puzzles, you mean? Like in an escape room?
No, in life.
Is it?
Always.
Oh, flirt to get answers.
If women are giving you any kind of attention, that's it. That's
they want my riddle answers.
If that's what you call it.
Wow, okay, so I have to guard my...
Did you not know that?
No,
wow.
I've been naively kind of assuming that they were just like people. But you're telling me they've got an agenda, these women.
Oh, well, yeah. I'll send you some material.
Okay.
Have you heard of the
red pill? That's funny you should mention. Shigu here says... person that's come out
I
of
hope
nowhere
they never
just
come
to say
back,
this.
please.
Remember to choose your answer carefully. Wow, powerful.
No, it really was an accident not to wipe my feet.
Is it because you're a professional clown and you wear 19-meter long clown shoes?
Lamau. Nope.
Shut down.
Do you live in an area where snow, mud, or something would frequently get on your shoes? Although I have big shoes.
This starts a thread of Quadraxis revealing some incredible, like, personal insight that he again places no importance on. There is one bit towards the end, like right towards the end, maybe like 90% through this, where he drops a bombshell about. It's not even really related to the riddle. It's about something he doesn't know. And I no joke, I had to leave the room, and I was by myself in a room. I had to go outside. I was like, this is mad.
My favourite type of bombshell is that people don't know things. That's the best thing that you can find out about someone, is that they don't know something.
Big like lacuna.
Like Manal at the pharmacy when she said that cats don't have bones. Like, just so earnestly, well, they don't have bones.
Well,
like,
cats.
It ruins me because I just, it's like the Frankie Boyle line. It's like, what else don't they know? Like,
it shines a new light.
What's your life experience if you go through it thinking cats don't have, but what else does she think doesn't have? What things does she think does have bones?
That don't.
Very frightening.
Like Christmas trees.
You're a freak.
I'd love someone to draw that. If you're good at drawing, please draw a Christmas tree with bones.
Okay.
Like a skeleton tree.
Although I have big shoes, yes, but that has nothing to do with it.
Are they big for a medical reason?
Steel-toed boots? No and no. 12 triple wide, by the way, ha.
Is it because of their size? Triple wide? Is it because of their size that you have to go backwards?
Quad said physical condition has nothing to do with it. Serity, I feel, making a real error by placing a lot of value in what Quad says.
Yeah.
No. Do you have a key under your mat? Nope. Good guess. Do you have to move something back into position as you are exiting the room? That would be disturbed by the process of leaving the room, besides the door.
This is a good question.
Oh, you know it's a good question because he doesn't know the answer.
Yeah, it gets into a big spiral.
Oh, not quite. No, wait, let me think. That could be right.
That could be right.
That could be the answer. I do this 95% of the time. That might be the answer. Let me think. For example, to hang a key on a hook or to hide something. Serity with a big suspicion that he's always hiding. Not like that, but
Hide something like a giant clown shoe.
Lol. Serity, I'll tell you, you could have been together.
Yeah.
Not hiding anything.
Hashtag solved.
Can you lock the door from inside the house? I'm going to say yes on that.
Sure. Doesn't mean it's true, but fine.
And yes, I can.
What, again, like, one more bit of context I'll add is that going back through the chat logs to before I was in this chat, he has offered this experience and it's not been taken up for a while.
Wow.
Like, even on the day that this happened, hours and hours before, like 10 hours before, he'd been chucking out, like, I've got this riddle. You would think he knew anything about the answer.
About riddles?
Yeah,
about truth.
Talking to other humans and answering questions.
On a forum called, lest we forget, Casual Conversation.
And yet.
I'm going to say yes on that, and yes, I can. Do you typically lock the door from inside the house? But that's irrelevant, no. Do you typically lock the door from the garage? How'd I get out? No.
Did we give up on the shoe angle?
You don't lock your garage door? No, I haven't. The code on the garage door is enough. So you don't typically lock it, it just automatically locks. Yeah. Well, I could see if you entered your garage, left the house backwards, since you'd push the little lock button on the keypad, but exiting the garage into the house. keep going on the shoe angle. Never before has that piece of advice been given.
Essential to a riddle. Imagine if you were doing an escape room and it came over the tunnel.
Stop putting those coins in a letterbox. Focus on the shoe angle.
That's a deep cut of our podcast stories.
Yeah. That's back to episode 14.
Wow.
Cool Hand Lucas.
Very good. Very
good title,
knowledge.
though.
Yeah,
that's what I remembered. Because it was set in a prison.
Yeah.
And he was called Luke.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Keep going on the shoe angle. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a context.
Twice Double, who said he'd gone, is back. Do you wear open-toed shoes?
You said it wasn't physical ailment, so I assume nothing like your toes are injured and you don't want to bump them on the raised lip.
Hate bump them on the raised lip.
Yeah,
It's a
horrid
concept. Is the need... Now, I open up a really big can of worms here that in hindsight, very sorry.
To the listeners, to Sarah T, to Pow Wow Wow.
And it invents like a whole sort of language and vernacular emerges from this riddle where we end up having to talk about things like the concept of a backwards shoe and a forwards shoe, and what these things might mean.
I'll answer for you.
Nothing.
Neither of them means anything. There's no such thing as a backwards shoe.
Be
There's no such
Is the need, asks the mentalist, for backwardsness related to some direct attribute or property of your shoes? Ping me if I miss the answer, please.
Ooh, open-toed shoes. Wait, gotta do something. In that context, yes. Yes to which question?
Now, look at how he answers yes to which question.
Are we ready? Wait, no, not always. It's irrelevant. No, and yes.
Oh, very clear. Thank you, sir.
We're nearing the answer.
I can smell victory.
Imagine him giving you that weird riddle about the unhinged man from the last one. You asking him, like, is it something to do with Latin? Hinges, yes. Also,
Not
no.
always.
Wait, hang
Irrelevant.
on. 95% of the time. I'll check.
Twice Double kind of speaking for the group here. What is irrelevant?
And yet not sentient enough to recognise everything. The whole damn lot.
Puzzle.
Is the raised lip relevant? Yes, for the property or direct aspect.
Okay.
So it's something to do with the shoe.
Well,
he says
it's not that it's something to do with the shoe, but that there's some relationship between backwardsness and something physical
to
about
do
the
with
shoe.
the shoe. Yes, for the property or direct aspect.
Okay.
No.
So, and this is a sentence I regret ever asking. So, what properties do shoes have, gang?
This takes us through the next 50 pages.
Sure.
Raised lip isn't relevant.
It isn't the size, the steel toes, the clown shoes, sadly.
There are many types of shoes. For example, cleats.
What an offering. Gloomy Roomy's back to say, laces? I'm still waiting on an answer about open-toed.
Open-toed got a no, I think.
Unless he answered and I missed it.
He said no and yes.
Okay. Do you have some
Twice
kind of...
Double entirely given up. So he said no and yes. Fine, whatever. Like,
Sure.
I think he's
Burn
one step
that bridge.
ahead of all of you in
Yeah.
recognising
Well, he
the
fucks off.
futility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. He said no and yes. This reads like the weirdest pin to play of all time.
This is what I think. Like, I think this could work as a play.
Yeah, definitely. It would work much better as a play than an audio drama, certainly. But
You're our test audience.
yeah, but it would definitely work because it has that speaking over each other. No one's quite sure what
You'd
they're
have
saying.
Quadraxis just be a guy who sits in the middle of the stage, like, with no expressions at any point, and sometimes just wanders
I wouldn't
off.
have him in the room. I'd have him like he's raised, maybe he's in a box, but they're all talking to a chair as if he is there to just really hammer home how absent he is from this
As an
conversation.
intellect.
Yeah.
Do you have some kind of extreme high heel?
So I assume no to you and yes to him? Wait, sorry. I'm a mature young adult and must wash the dishes. I'll be waiting for you. Well, couldn't answer the question before you went. So you're good. We're just theory crafting right now.
Let's compile what we know. This is like an episode of Who Done It?
Are there cleats that only have spikes on the front or back?
I hope it turns out his house is a ski lodge. No, but track spikes are only on the front part of the shoe. Gloomy Roomy. Some excellent knowledge there.
Yeah.
And by shoes, he means a snowboard.
He said snow, mud, etc. is irrelevant. He says he does this 95% of the time when he leaves.
And by going backwards into his house, he means falling backwards off a boat to start a scuba dive.
So we can assume they're his normal shoes.
Yeah.
5% of the time he might leave with boots or sandals or something.
Although I suppose normal is fairly relative depending on what one does with their life.
Sure.
But I do wonder what the 5% would be that would change the equation, yeah.
I don't know anything about his social life, but we can assume that he goes to school or work as well as the store with these shoes.
I guess most people leave the house most often for work, so maybe work shoes equals backwards, leisure shoes equals not.
He's 19, so it could be shoes. Oh no, so that's twice double.
Oh yeah.
Stealing your line.
He's 19. Oh no, that's not his voice, is it? He's 19, so it could be shoes. Ha! School. What the fuck? That was an autocorrect issue. Lol.
College?
Shoes on the brain. Maybe he's studying ballet. I think we should inquire about the nature of the shoes more. Maybe he's a cobbler.
Incredible angle. He's a 19-year-old cobbler.
Backwards walking cobbler. So busy cobbling as he leaves the garage.
Yeah, he needs the light from the garage. I'm assuming he's actually wearing shoes and isn't playing some fancy not shoes thing. I don't know what that means, but I think that's probably the closest to the answer that you've got so far.
This is in quotes. This was like a question I was suggesting we ask. Are these shoes specifically designed to aid in a particular task, trade, or action of some kind?
I just took mine off,
says Imolor, new member. I'm going to find something else to do. This is the third or fourth time they've said that. Will someone ping me when all of this is over? Or if you forget, whatever, doesn't matter.
Again, very apt.
It's 4 a.m. and I want to go to sleep, but I can't not know.
You can just wake me up when the year ends, or just let me sleep until you need me. I wouldn't mind going into a coma right now.
That's only the fourth thing that person has said, and I'm worried about them in a big way. Gloomy Roomy does the :0 gasp.
So many people wanting to be pinged, lol.
The suspense is killing me.
So far, we have Twice and Ned.
Twice. I think Ned must be Imolor.
Yeah.
If I had a garage, I'd be going backwards in and out of it to pass the time. Do you use the bottom of the door frame / step up into the house? Can't think of the word to push off your shoes, Quadraxis?
He said the small rise isn't relevant.
Oh, missed it.
I used my toes to take off my shoes.
An incredible way of phrasing a very normal action to make it sound horrific. I'm thinking of like uses them individually like fingers to sort of peel off the shoe and to undo the lace.
Like a hermit crab leaving its shell.
Exactly, yeah.
Extricating from the shoe.
Exactly
from
like
the foot
that.
prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Must stay for result.
I'm back.
Wow, here he is.
Like if you catch the back of your shoes on the lip, though, to help you pull it off without bending over, though. I get it. 8:17 p.m. The Mentalist. Are these shoes specifically designed to aid in a particular task, trade, or action of some kind? Would I miss? No.
Shut down. To clarify, if you aren't wearing the shoes, would you enter forwards?
He will not understand that question. Yeah. I'm gonna put that out there now. He's not going to.
I put my toes on the back of my shoe and push it off.
I plucked for that voice randomly for a really innocent line, but it's it's very kind of salad fingers. By the shoes, we mean the relevant shoes. Anyone in my shoes.
I would always have shoes.
So I said, if you aren't wearing the shoes, would you enter forwards? And he said,
I always would. I always would say, yeah.
Is there a single pair of shoes that causes backwards entry?
In other words, if you were wearing different shoes.
We're getting like a tag team thing going now, me and Serity. We're like good cop, bad cop.
Shoes.
Something to mull over.
Would you walk forwards?
No for single pair, no for different pairs.
Is there I'm trying to like reword it. At least one pair of shoes that would cause you to enter forwards.
And then again with an incredible 1-2 punch of completely antithetical answers.
Yes, only one.
Thank you, TM. Lol.
Smiley face.
You were flirting back.
Smiley is not flirting. Back. Smiley is a hallmark of my
Smiley is the
Wink
flirting.
Is
oh no. Winky is like for the overt
upside down smile flirt.
No, upside down smile is absolute snark.
No. Cowboy hat emoji is a flag.
Well, no, that's just a direct offer of sex
That's
straight up.
DTF. DTF with the cowboy man.
Are the shoes sandals?
We got there in the end.
No.
That was 3 pages to ask him one question. Did we ever get an open-toed answer?
Are those shoes boots? No.
This is some evil genie thing.
Look at you getting in with the slang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are those shoes unusual? Brackets, the shoes that would make you enter forwards.
Jesus, this shoe
I hate the face you have to do for this character.
No, so do I.
Jesus, this shoe discussion is ridiculous.
Sound like Argus Filch's dumb cousin.
An amazing thing to say of a conversation you've been reading and that you voluntarily joined. Open-toed is irrelevant and answers are both yes and no. They're not unusual weight. What is the question you are answering yes to? That both yes and no is ambiguous. I meant for open.
I'm getting such intense flashbacks of just the state of wanting to tear off.
How has there
every
been
skin.
no all caps used? I'd have called this guy a cunt
I think
so
it was
many
because
times.
it's like a deer. Like you have to approach him so cautiously. If you ask him too many
You
things,
can shoot him, put its head on the wall.
was
You'll never
actually-
know why it went in the garage backwards, but maybe you don't need to. That both yes and no is ambiguous. I meant for open-toed.
what?
Yes, there was an answer, but the answer was no. Yes, there was an answer, but the answer was no. That's
like
like
a
a
Les Mis.
John Darkins.
Yeah.
No, I'm...
New character here. This person's going to feature quite a lot. Some backstory. They're a moderator of the subreddit and the Discord.
Okay.
I think probably.
Do you want to take them on?
Okay, yeah. What voice shall I do for them though? Because I don't like them very much.
Do a sort of
What? No.
snooty.
I don't want to be northern for everyone though.
Okay. Do a sort of snooty.
I got brand new shoes today.
Mean it's irrelevant because it depends, K.
Is the reason that the forward shoes, here I invent a term that only comes back to Hornfest, are the only pair to grant forward access to do with their design. Addy is the name of this mod. Fuck off. Oh, that's not the right voice. We're solving a mystery.
Nope.
Sarity has sent a frankly criminal detective emoji.
Yeah, a big blob.
But if you imagine that the regular smiley face was just sort of melting a bit.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Actually,
Is the reason that the forward shoes are the only pair to grant forward access to do with something you've done to them? More like an interrogation.
are you sure? Nope.
Sure about what?
Heh.
After 4 dots, my favourite ellipsis.
Are the forward shoes that a person may typically use in an everyday normal situation, not for special occasions, like, for example, roller skating?
Is there a physical attribute of the forward shoes that means they grant forward access whilst all other shoes do not?
Yeah, no.
Despite them being almost like 2 sides of the same coin.
Yep.
Huh? Well, that's baffling. This is really interesting. How about this?
Take a guess what I was responding. Wow, no, a secondary type of riddle within the core riddle. Take a guess what I was responding, are you sure for? That will provide a breakthrough.
Gloomy Roomy pops back in. Kay, I'm sleep deprived. Best of luck. Toodles.
K.
Holy shit, Gabriel Iglesias has a new stand-up.
Imola is the
in
greatest
with that?
energy in this chat. Does the reason you walk backwards have anything to do whatsoever with explicitly anything touching your skin or body? In other words, for example, if you don't want to accidentally touch something with your toes, or if you do want to touch
Like
something
what?
with your toes, just as an example.
Iglesias sounds like the guy who sang Tonight I'm Fucking You Know.
No, not him.
I need to dig deep into these forward shoes.
You don't. You didn't. And
I thought I
no,
did.
You were so
And I still
wrong.
think I do.
Yeah, seriously.
That song is so uncomfortable.
Gabriel Iglesias, not Enrique.
A quote from me.
The Mentalist is the reason that the forward shoes are the only pair to grant forward access to do with their design.
Did it have to do with these shoes being dirty? Sorry if it's been asked.
Are you sure? Should have been IRT this,
In reference to.
because he said, nope, actually, are you sure?
Yeah, so this becomes another key distraction. Wild
yeah.
goose chase is that at some point he did that thing earlier, you noticed, where he said, are you sure?
Yeah.
Heh. So we took that to be like a big clue was given somewhere.
Oh, no.
You're not wrong to dismiss that as mostly irrelevant. To clarify, there is a non-physical attribute of them which qualifies them and no other shoes in the world for forward entry. What's the original riddle?
Figure out why I responded, are you sure?
Gabriel Iglesias is funny as hell.
Wait. Why do I make a point of leaving my garage backwards, Addy?
Why does Quad always go from his garage into his house backwards?
Okay for 8.25, no.
Because he's a weirdo?
Dirty is no. I want that on a t-shirt.
Dirty is no. Problem solved.
Non-physical is yes, although we've eliminated a lot of basics, e.g. unique habit, superstition, OCD, etc., locks, wiping feet, etc.
So,
There can easily be others.
the wind. Ooh.
I think dirt is
I
physical.
want that on a t-shirt.
That's an incredible bit of
I
poetry.
think.
Dirt is physical. But so fat, I have one. Far. Rewrite all that, Quad, because you're all over the place, Lamau. Well, how has it taken 38 pages for Sarati to finally be like, I've had enough of your shit?
gone. Is the reason the forward shoes grant forward access to do with their specific interaction with some other element of the scene?
No.
Maybe because he wants to watch the door of the garage close because he's too dumb to use his ear holes.
I fucking hate this person.
They can be quite funny, but I do, I think the voice is apt.
Judging by their name
Yeah.
and demeanour,
Yeah.
do you think it's...
Tess.
Yeah.
No, sadly not.
Nope. Figure out why I said, are you sure about that?
Are the forward shoes
Like
unique?
the incredible piece of obliviousness from
Riddlemanship.
Quadraxis here is that he has no idea that everything that he says is having to be debated thrice over because he doesn't ever make it clear what he's responding to.
Yeah.
So he is sure that he said, are you sure about that, at the exact right moment, when the chances of that are so spectacularly and galactically poor that it you can't just reference back to it, Quadraxis. No one knows.
Bless him. Are the forward shoes unique or the backward shoes unique?
It will really help.
I'm not actually answering this riddle, I'm goofing. He said
Fuck off, Addy.
he said there's only one pair of forwards.
Forward shoes are unique.
That's an amazing sentence.
What a thing
There's
to have
only one
extracted
context in
from.
the world.
No
where
one's
sentence
ever
is
said
meant
that. No
Yeah.
one's ever said that.
I caused that.
Yeah.
And I've never been more sorry.
It's like when we got Ross to say,
heat sec.
yeah, it's just
but
spectacular.
It's another deep cut of the podcast story.
Yeah, exactly.
Lineage.
This is an episode for, the long timers.
Absolutely.
Because anyone who hasn't been in it for the long haul is out.
1 minute in.
He enters his house backwards 95% of the time, and 5% of the time he doesn't. For the 95% of the time, he would say anyone in my shoes would do the same.
And all the rest are backwards. Are the forward shoes unique in the world, or could you pick up more pairs if you wanted to? Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Quadraxis, unique to your collection, unique in the world, unique as in abnormal. I could pick up more shoes if I want to.
Maybe his feet are backwards due to a horrific accident. Duh.
Physical ailments are not related. Unique to my collection. You just said the exact opposite. Unique to my collection.
Another great Imola line.
Ooh, the Jungle Book is on Netflix.
Okay.
Okay, what a great
Okay.
response to that.
The forward shoes are not sandals or boots.
This is so dumb. Then go away. Is your collection as a whole an average person's shoe collection? Wow.
The chances
An
of that
optimistic
zero.
question. For any pair of shoes in the world, are they more likely to be forwards or backwards shoes? At Imola, isn't Kate Blanchett in that?
Backwards, I'd say.
I think.
Really hate.
Quadraxis, are cleats or spikes relevant to either the forward shoes or backward shoes?
Let me see.
Can you tell if shoes will be F or B based on an image?
Okay, guys, no.
Then a new person pops in, Obi with a frog emoji.
That's a shame.
Will the answer make us say aha or oh?
No. Yes, it will. Lol.
Can you tell if there'll be F or B based on a video? Yeah, it is something. In before this is a massive letdown.
I'm sure it is, Addy, lol.
Is it a solid reason or just 'cause I like it, lol?
Figure out why I said, are you sure?
'Cause it seems more and more to be the latter.
No, he's not. She's not in it, Addy.
Someone said we're solving a mystery. Was Are You Sure in reply to that? Just give us better hints and stop being difficult.
No. The first apt answer that is
right.
given in time to the right question.
Am I going to feel like I wasted this time entirely? No, don't give hints.
It sounds like to that question.
Yeah.
It was not.
Was Are You Sure directed at me? He already did.
Let me check.
I've been wanting to see the new Jungle Book for a while.
I wanted to taste the animals on the screen.
I like to look at every time cars on the screen.
Only go and see it if you can enter the theatre backwards. At Imola, who are the top 5 billed
What a
actors?
dull question. You're on a computer. It was at you at Powwow Wow.
I have an iPad with Netflix. I don't need to go anywhere.
Are you sure? Here's a
Paste bin, which is a copy paste of about 50 lines of chat surrounding the moment when they said, "Are you sure?"
At least that's, shows that Serity's now wise to the fact that it could have related to
Yeah,
anything within maybe 15 pages.
Here's the thing: she set the parameters wide. It turns out it was even before
Oh,
that.
good.
Yeah.
Directed at you.
What question though?
Oh,
Serity, you're so thorough.
you flirt. I tell you. You can't help yourself.
It's my natural mode of communicating with most
Yeah,
people.
I get that as well. But come on. Sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. Look at your little face. You're blushing.
As if.
Yeah.
I'm
I
in
can
love
perfectly
with this riddle master.
You're in love with Quadraxis.
Imagine being in a relationship with Quadraxis.
It must be the most
You would kill
singularly
him.
infuriating.
You would kill him in
Well,
one
you'd kill
second.
yourself.
Well, both.
I wouldn't
Why
even.
do I shoot
wouldn't have the
myself
heart
backwards?
because you can't murder people who are just educationally.
You couldn't explain to him
inept.
why you were killing
No,
him.
exactly.
Or
So
what it meant.
the state can't kill him, and neither can I. What? Then it was you asking about open-toed shoes.
What did I say?
No, I didn't go that far back. One sec.
That you replied to with, "Are you sure?"
Ned, did we ever get an open-toed answer? It's not about that.
Scarlett Johansson, she's in it.
Emma is the only person slower to respond than fucking Quadraxis.
It's like 3-page lag. Fuck. Oh.
Emola could be any gender, any age, any race, or indeed none. Could just be an
I
entity.
think it's that. I think it's I think they're an NPC. Was it to do with Ned's question about an interrogation?
Open-toed.
Ah, my favourite movie, Jew. Now, this is some context, a Jewish person speaking.
Okay.
Referring to Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
Who I didn't know was Jewish until just reading that now. They are.
It's something else. Damn.
Okay, Quad, what is the "Are you sure" about then? He only answers yes/no.
Well, not even that.
And hardly.
Yeah. And never to what you want.
No. Okay then. Quadraxis, if I were to show you pictures of shoes, I've asked this question already,
Yep.
by the way. Would you be able to tell me if they were backwards or forward shoes?
Does your reason have anything to do with your shoes' footprints?
What could that mean?
No and no.
Can you tell if they'll be F or B based on a video?
No.
Can you only tell if they'll be F or B based on wearing them?
Yeah. At Pow Wow, it's not the interrogation.
Given 2 pairs of shoes that were manufactured identically, say 2 pairs of red Converse, if one is B, backwards, would the other necessarily also be backwards? This is easily the most circular set of questioning I've seen.
It's not a circular set of questioning, it's a circular set of answers or lack thereof.
Does the average person have some forward shoes and some backward shoes?
Question, yeah and yes.
Like tube socks?
Here, a little further back on the chat log. At Pow Wow Wow, the Are You Sure?
I stopped understanding this conversation 20 minutes ago.
Is referring to something that wasn't a direct question.
Addy, fuck off, we're solving a mystery.
Was
That was
it,
a quote.
quote, yes, there was an answer, but the answer was no?
There you go, that one.
Which one? Ooh.
8:25.
I think we should end it there for today. I think we've left it on a cliffhanger. We're leaving it on something of an Act 1 cliffhanger. We've just found out the key bit of information that all of the intrigue, all of the sometimes challenging, I think you'll agree, interrogation.
Often, I think, in its totality.
Totally impossible.
Yeah.
All of that has borne fruit, and that fruit is that this clue that Quadrax has deigned to give us of this are you sure little hint was in reference to the line, yes, there was an answer, but the answer was no.
And do you know what that was in reference to?
Oh, no.
Okay, good.
Absolutely not.
Thank
So that's
Christ.
something for us all to riddle about in the intervening week. We'll be finishing off the rest of the Garage Riddle moving forwards.
Oh, goodness,
and,
yes.
And reaching what I can only warn you is the least
The greatest
satisfying
denouement
conclusion
in
the
Western
history
literature.
of events that have happened. Declan, until then, there are a whole bunch of ways people can get in touch, and I know that you just love to go on and on about them.
Well, I can't stop because I'd love to hear what people think of this.
Yeah.
I'd especially love to hear what Toby Milestone King thinks about this. I've got a feeling
This is up his
This
street.
is really his style
he's
of content.
something of a Quadraxis himself. In
Yeah,
many
he
ways.
likes to pose the old question,
Yep.
often about, are we doing enough content? Is the content good?
Yeah.
And
Am I
often,
wearing my backwards shoes?
often with a cynical bend that I think seems to imply that he doesn't think that it is. And indeed, he did say that on this very show. It's
really weird.
Sat in that there chair between us. But
Really weird.
anyone, of course, is welcome to email, and that would be TAS at shame.city. I think we've got other emails that we've got to read at some point.
Yeah, we
but
do.
we'll do a big shame mail section
Absolutely.
at some point. You can also find your way into our inboxes via the website shame.city/contact.
Love it there.
You can find us on Twitter. The show is at That's a Shamecast. If you haven't already, then make sure you head over there and check out whatever abominable artwork Isaac has made for this here episode,
it'll be good.
and indeed every episode prior.
Absolutely.
You can find Isaac himself. He's been tweeting more than average of late, and that's always a treat. He can be found at IsaacBD. I can be found at DE Delane.
Absolutely.
You can find us on Discord if you'd like a similar experience to the one from this
try and,
particular
create
episode.
a bot that just sends one line of this at a time.
yeah. So you can read it like a sort of hooked
Yeah.
story.
Wow. I could
But
something
even
stand.
less followable.
Absolutely less, for sure. That is what? Shame.city/Discord.
Shame.city/Discord,
involved.
indeed.
And-
if you have a dollar to spare,
Half
$2,
a dollar twice.
Yeah.
Don't be stingy.
Head over to patreon.com/shamecity. If you've got friends, if you've got enemies, if you've got anyone around you, if you've got a
aunt.
sort of soapbox maybe from which you preach in the park on a Sunday,
Very nice.
then why not whammy bomb us? Word of mouth is best of mouth.
Absolutely it is, and it always will be as far as I'm concerned.
Is there anything else?
That is literally it. And
it. Done.
until episode 139, forward shoes aplenty. I've been Isaac, you've been.
I've been Declan.
See you very, very soon.
necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Necessity